Yo, what is up, guys? So I have a consistent Hieratic Dragon Gishki loop deck, which is going to get rid of all of your opponent's cards turn one, which is a pretty broken effect. But basically, let me sum it up over here because it's a pretty simple idea, but I haven't seen anyone do it. So Fishki over here, shout out to you, figured out something pretty cool that I think a lot of us overlook. So the Goose Kraken, it has the ability, when it's ritual summon, you get to look up to 2 random cards in your opponent's hand, shuffle one of them into the deck. But when you're actually ritual summoning this card, you're going to use one of the Hieratic Dragons. It doesn't matter which one, but you're going to use one of them as the material, and when they are attributed, you actually get an effect to special summon a vanilla monster. It doesn't have to be this card, but this card just happens to be kind of one of the better targets in the game, just because, well, it happens to be one that is level 6, and it's also a tuner. So basically, that's going to allow you to go straight into your needle fiber, also utilizing the Gishki Abyss here. It doesn't really have to be this. There are probably a lot of different ways to pull it off, but that's an easy card to go for, considering Gishkis have a lot of searchability already built into the deck, and with cards like Salvage that are going to allow you to kind of go plus anyways, doesn't really matter because most of the cards are kind of swappable. For example, Gishki Shadow over here can be the material requirements, and then on top of that, you can discard this card to add a Gishki Ritual spell, and then Vision lets you discard this card to add a Gishki Ritual monster. So it's a pretty consistent way to pull off the win condition in the deck. If you really have to normal summon Gishki Vision to get the level 2, to go into the Herald, to get your other sources, you can technically do that, but we're going to go ahead and go into Sarayuja and just kind of reset things over here. Again, just going for a Goose Kraken over and over is basically what you're going to be doing, and your opponent's going to eventually have no cards, which is pretty unbalanced, but that's just part of the way the Gishki works. In fact, this deck got a lot of hype back, but this is before Links, but they actually banned it before it actually even came out. We never got to see the full Gishki loop, so at this point, the opponent has no cards. He top decks, he's got 1 card, he can't really play anything as well. He top decks into 8 Deshrudo, but he's going to go ahead and reset another card. But it's actually a pretty consistent way to pull it off. Again, you're going to need to actually normal summon a level 2. It doesn't have to be that specific Gishki, it just happens to work out pretty well. But pretty much, when your opponent's top decking, when you've got a board, unless they're top decking Raigeki, or they top deck the Bulbman for the draws, it's actually not too bad as far as consistency goes, especially for any loop deck in 2018, because most of those decks, they've gotten nerfed. But anyways, let's go ahead and go over the deck profile. Now, I did want to mention, we didn't showcase off Gale Dogra, but Gale Dogra would be another level 2 monster that you can summon. And if you summon this card, you just win the game. Granted, that's unless this gets like negated or something. But you pay 3,000 life points to send 1 monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, which is going to be all of your Heralds of Arclight. Well, you can only send 2, unless, of course, your opponent somehow heals you up. But for the most part, basically, you're just trying to send everything that you can, well, as many copies of Herald of Arclight, because when it's sent to the graveyard, you're able to add a ritual monster or a ritual spell card from your deck to your hand. And we're not even using the Devi rituals, rituals. We're not even utilizing these cards either. So this could maybe somehow help out, because it does give you an extra monster, and it would technically be like another monster that could be used, again, for the ritual summon in the first place. But there is a downside with the current Devi rituals. As of right now, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. So that's kind of the downside with them. At least for these 2. I don't know if all of them are going to have that effect. Maybe it's its own archetype. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile, and I'll kind of explain things for those of you guys that are interested in maybe trying out the deck. Like I said, it seems to be pretty consistent. So anyways, first up we have 2 copies of Labyrite Dragon, and then 1 Galaxy Serpent, just because it's another level 2 plus as a tuner. And then we have 3 copies of Sue, 3 copies of Tefnuit, 1 copy of Soul of Purity and Light. This is going to actually extend your combos. I didn't want to showcase off gameplay that was like kind of conditional, because this card, honestly, I feel like you can maybe just drop it. Heck, Upstart could be an option as well, because like if you're running a deck that is heavily FTK-ish based, you can definitely just make a game anyway, so who cares about Upstart, like giving your opponent an extra 1,000 lives. I was actually thinking about even Desires here would be good. I understand that like you need some of your cards, but even just like 1 Desires can be pretty big sometimes, or even just like running 2 copies of it. But 3 Manju, and then we have 3 copies of the Shadow, we have 3 copies of Gishki Abyss. Keep in mind you can search out whatever card you want, so like even though you do well, having Abyss really helps out because it just lets you add one. But, well, it lets you add the small ones, which basically can go, well, it lets you add one with 1,000 or less defense, and Shadow and Vision will search out whatever you want anyway. So, like I said, that's why it's a really consistent way to pull off the win condition in this deck. Then, of course, 3 Gale Dogger. If you open up this and it doesn't get negated, you won the game pretty much. Then we have Plug Spreader Zombie, and then we have 1 copy of Tetra Ogre. But there's only 1 copy of Goose Kraken, but as you guys saw, we just recycle it over and over again. Completely balanced, though. Then we have 1 Cyber Angel Benton over here. And it's just for, well, this one has the effect of if it's tributed, you can add 1 Light Fairy monster from your deck turn. We didn't see it here, but it's for this, and then this obviously it lets you go straight into rank 6s. Specifically going for M7, that's kind of like the main card that we're actually utilizing to recycle some of the stuff in the combo here. As you guys saw. And then, anyways, we got 3 copies of Hieratic Seal of Convocation, 2 copies of Cards of Consonance, which, Galaxy Serpent happens to be a target for it. And then we have 1 Metal Foes Fusion, 3 copies of Salvage, because all these cards are just going to be straight up pluses at this point. Then we have 3 copies of Aquamirror, which is the card that's going to let you kind of get those free advantage cards. But anyways, it has that effect where you use it to ritual summon, but you can shuffle this card from the graveyard into the deck, then target Gishki ritual monster in your graveyard, and return it. So it actually resets your combos anyways, because putting this card at 1... As you guys saw, it didn't really matter too much. But anyways, for the extra deck, we got 1 Stars Charge Warrior, 3 copies of Arclight, 1 Digital Bug Rhinoceros Bus over here. This one has the effect you can detach material, then destroy a face-up monster or monsters your opponent controls with the highest defense. It was just kind of used as a stepping stone mostly in the replays here. There's better rank 6s, but I'm going to give you guys the deck profile as it was sent in. And then we have Gauntlet Launcher, we have Hieratic Dragon King of Top, which we didn't really use. Exit Beetle, which is actually a card that can actually be kind of important because you're going to be able to attach material and then get the effect of the attachment when it falls off, if it happens to be a certain target. Then we have Herald of Pure Light. We got the Skulldie, Decode Talker, Needle Fiber, and Link Spreader. The only really important cards I really say that exist in the extra deck are pretty much going to be like these cards. This card does technically let you get a draw, but it definitely does help. It's a stepping stone, but the most important cards are pretty much right here, and then obviously with this, it lets you recycle some of your stuff much easier. But that's the new Gishki loop in 2018, getting rid of all of your opponent's cards before they even get to play. These are the kinds of decks that people hate, but I figure, I thought it was kind of interesting to see Gishkis, and it'll be interesting to see, when we eventually get that ban list, right, what they'll do, because I don't know if they've, expected this, but Needle Fiber needs to come out soon, otherwise, by the time it comes out, it might just be an irrelevant deck. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the vid. If you did, go ahead and drop a like on it, and if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button to see more Yu-Gi-Oh content. And if you guys have any cool replays, I always love seeing what you guys send into the community. Send it at AzneyesReplays@gmail.com. You guys can go ahead and send the YRP file, and then we can showcase it off. But shoutouts once again to Fishki here for showcasing off the Hieratic Gishki loop in 2018. But thanks for watching, guys, and I am signing out.